Yo, what is going on? PartTimerZack here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Tower of Babel. So I wanted to kind of go in here and just give you guys an idea. I played about 3 hours yesterday on stream, and I got over a 30 or level 20 on a lot of these and just got an idea of essentially how to play it. And I wanted to give you guys kind of the rundown of how each thing works. Now, if you want like an in-depth guide of essentially how to do each and every one of these, definitely let me know. But I do recommend you guys check out Rexcellent. He's going to be somebody that breaks down a lot of this stuff. He also breaks down bosses and all that kind of stuff. If you're struggling in Pain Cage, definitely a really cool dude and does a lot of different things. But I wanted to give you guys just the general gist of essentially, if you're kind of looking at this for the first time, like what does it mean? What are the constructs? What kind of happens and what's going on? So essentially what you want to know is you can go into the challenge missions, and this is going to be kind of where you get a lot of different things, right? As you can see, you can get a couple different like points. As you kind of rack them up, you end up getting a lot of different rewards. So basically what this is talking about is it's kind of corresponding to the total of everything. So you can see that these are both at level 20, meaning that I grinded all the way through it. My total level is level 40. So each time that I go into one of these and I grind up to a certain level, you will see that it corresponds with some rewards that I'm able to get. Now, jumping like exclusively into one of these missions, you can see that there's a couple different ones that we can do. Now, if you're seeing this for the first time and it's at 0, you'll actually need to complete each one to move on to the next stage. Now, the first three of them are predetermined on what the stats are. And on the fourth one, you can choose how hard it gets. So essentially what I mean by that, so say example, I go into this one, you can see that these are locked. These are required. These are something that I have to do. I can't change it or do anything about it. Now, talking real quickly about the constructs, you can see that you actually have to deploy certain units. As you can see, deploy an attacker unit, deploy one or more constructs with at least 3000 BC. This becomes a little bit more important as you grind through it, because some of the stages only require, a tank, some can only have medics, and some of them won't even allow you to run a DPS at all, like a main attacker anyway. And so it's going to be a little bit harder for you to get going. So whenever you go through it, just make sure that you're paying attention to the team, because you can only select this team for this level. So what I'm saying is essentially for this one right here, this team is the only team that can be used on it. They cannot be used on any of these other ones. Now, the memories you can swap off on, okay? So the memories that you have for each unit, you can swap between. They are not locked. They are not stuck into the tower. Essentially, the only thing is the construct. So if you go through all this, right, for example, you go through 5, 9, and 13, remember that those are predetermined. You cannot change any of the difficulties here. But if you go all the way through it, this is where it starts to get a little bit more fun. You jump in here and you can pick essentially what levels you want it to be. Now, keep in mind though, if you go to the max, you're not going to be able to do it very easily. This is going to be very, very, very hard. But you can see up here that this is going to correspond with the level here that I have overall. So essentially I had level 40, and now I'm going to be able to get to level 66 if I go through here and I'm able to complete every single thing on here and go through it. It is very difficult and it's very hard to do that. So I don't really recommend that you start off there. I would recommend you kind of build your way up, but do keep in mind that essentially what you want to do is get to 20 on each one of these, because once you get to 20, if you go into your little shop here, or this little challenge mission anyway, you can see that that's actually the cutoff for most of your rewards. You will still want to get this stuff, but essentially the cutoff is going to be 20 for each level. So you have 5 levels here. Each one of them needs to be 20 for you to get the max amount of rewards here. And then you can get these little tokens. So these tokens are quite helpful, and they do a couple different things that can be used to reward the commanders to succeed. But essentially they're like the badge of honor essentially. So these other ones you can use for other different things, like obviously memories and shards and stuff like that. So that is the main goal, is to get to level 100 and to grind through each one of these to get them to level 20. So I hope that makes sense. That is kind of what I really wanted to go through. Like I said, some of these are a little bit different. So for example, on this one, I have to use a main construct to deploy one tank. So I actually have to do a tank, but I can use attackers here, but I have to have a tank. So unfortunately, whenever I went through some of these other missions, I used a majority of my tanks. So just make sure that you go through here and you read some of these, because you can check out these at any time and see what they want you to do, like deploy level 40 or higher construct, just to give you an idea of essentially what you want to kind of do before you jump into it on the main one, or essentially the first one there. You can see exactly what you need to know going forward. So that is going to be kind of the gist of it. The last thing I really wanted to talk about essentially is that whenever you go through it, you're able to pick, whenever you pick your thing, you can pick 2 skill points. This is based on what you chose essentially. So whenever you get to this like little screen right here, oh, it kicks me out. Okay, so whenever you get to this screen right here, you get support points, and for every support point you're able to pick like kind of a buff essentially, or helps you out a little bit. And it can do a couple different things, like for example, attack of deployed constructs increases by 10%. Now each one of these stages do something different to help you out. That's just something to keep in mind. Make sure to ping those, because every single time that I had a little bit more difficulty, I forgot to get those. Those help you out and they make it a little bit easier, not a ton, but definitely a lot helpful whenever you kind of go through it. So make sure you're grabbing those, but that is going to be the gist of it. I just wanted to kind of give a rundown for anybody who's just kind of wondering. You didn't really want to just jump into it. You wanted to get an idea. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Peace.